Hi, I'm Chris, welcome back to FRAG-MENTAL, thanks for joining me. Do you like fresh fragrances? Do you want to wear them all year round, but maybe you think fresher fragrances don't last in the cooler months, in the winter? Well, this video is for you because I've picked out 6 of my favourite strong, fresh fragrances that work just as well in the cold as they do in the warm. Some people are just fresh. Some people just love fresh fragrances. Anything other than a fresh fragrance does not ever enter their mind, and that's absolutely fine. For some people, wearing a fragrance is about being fresh and about being clean. It's not about wearing notes like chocolate and coffee and vanilla and whiskey and all those things that I love so much. And for a lot of women, a lot of partners out there, they want their partner to just smell fresh and clean. That's all they want. Not complicated, not dark, not like they've been drinking in a whiskey bar the night before. They just want their partner to be fresh. The problem is, a lot of fresh fragrances are designed to be worn in the heat. They've got all these fresh, energetic, Hesperidic, bright notes like citruses and mint. A lot of the time, those notes pop off and they fizzle off the top of a fragrance really quickly, and you're not left with much else after that. So in the warmer months, when the sun has heated up your skin, it's allowing these slightly weaker fragrances to last a bit longer because they're heating up the scent and allowing it to bloom in a way that they don't do in the winter. But I think some fresh fragrances can last and cut through that cold winter air, so here they are. This first fragrance is from a brand that's doing really good stuff at the moment. They have not released a bad fragrance in the last maybe 4 or 5 years. It's Boss. They're killing it right now, releasing a lot of good fragrances, a lot of Elixir fragrances actually. And this one is an Elixir because this is Bottled Triumph Elixir. Okay, not the freshest fragrance out there, definitely not a freshie, but it does have a little bit of a fresh thing in the background there. There's a slight little aquatic ozonic accord. It's not a fruity, citrusy freshie, but it does have some fresher characteristics. So if you want a clean, fresh fragrance, I think this would probably still work for you. But then there's also some deeper, heavier notes. There's some patchouli, which gives it a little bit of a chocolatey vibe. So you've got the depth, you've got the density, you've got the lasting power for it to work in colder months, but you've got a little bit of freshness in there as well. To be honest, this just smells really good. I don't know if they achieved it by accident or if they really put a lot of thought into it. I'm sure it's the latter, but Boss have really released some good Elixir fragrances. If you want a fragrance that isn't too dark, too complex, that you can wear in the winter months and it still works and it still has just a little bit of freshness going on, then Bottled Triumph Elixir, definitely worth a try. We are going very fresh, fruity and aquatic for the next one, but this is a super strong fragrance. Supersonic from Aaron Terence Hughes. Very fresh and citrusy, lots of lovely juicy citrus in here, balanced with this gorgeous fresh aquatic accord. Just buzzing with energy, this one, and the note of oak moss has been utilized in this fragrance to give it some depth without losing that freshness. Also a bit of ginger as well, keeping things fresh and spicy. Woods giving it depth. So what you get with Supersonic is a lot of depth, but also a lot of freshness. And this depth, the notes that create the depth, seem to hold on to the fresher notes, so they stay in the fragrance composition throughout the time that you're wearing it. Supersonic is a boosted, even stronger version. I guess it's a flanker of Supernova. Supernova was strong enough. That is definitely not a weak fragrance, and I think you could even wear that one in the cooler months and it would still work. But if you want something even stronger than that to cut through that cold winter air, and you want the freshness, Supersonic brings it home. A brand new fragrance that's only recently been released is from Versace's popular Eros line. This one is very summer appropriate, but I think also winter appropriate because it's got all the energy you want from a winter fragrance. So they called it Eros Energy. Pretty strong fragrance, this one. Lemon, orange, grapefruit, all the citrus and all the energy. Definitely a fresh fragrance, but it's also got weight. There's pink pepper and oak moss, again, giving it that depth and structure and texture. So there's a bit of spicy poppiness, which is nice. For me, it could be even more. It could be an even spicier, like a cool, fresh, spicy scent. I think that would have added a little bit of extra character to the scent. It is pretty much an out-and-out citrus fragrance. That is the dominant aspect of this, the juicy, bright citruses, but they do last. If I'm being picky, I would have liked something with even more structure, even more backbone, rather than just an out-and-out citrus bomb, but that's what it is. It's a fresh fragrance. It lasts in the colder weather because it is so strong, and it does have the power of the oak moss in there. Not sure it needed to be an Eros, but obviously they're cashing in on a very established line of fragrances, but it is an Eros. It is energized, and it does work really well in the cooler temperatures. Bleu de Chanel is a great fresher fragrance that works all year round. I think you can have those fresher fruity elements and it still works in the cooler temperatures. It's not the strongest of fragrances, but Armaf have swooped in and sorted that out because they've created a very similar smelling fragrance that has a little bit more firepower. This is Club de Nuit Iconic. Somehow Armaf have managed to create that magical Chanel quality. Usually what you find with Armaf fragrances is that they make a stronger version of a scent, things like Millésime Imperial, Aventus, but they do it at the compromise of a little bit of smoothness, a little bit of refinement, particularly in the openings. But with Iconic, maybe they've been aware of these criticisms, but they seem to have smoothed out the opening so you don't get this slightly abrasive opening, and then you have to wait half an hour for it to settle into the smoother aspects of the fragrance. It seems to be smooth from the start, just like wearing a Chanel fragrance. You've got that smooth, refined quality. You get that with Iconic, so really impressed with this. If you like Bleu de Chanel but you think it doesn't last very long, definitely well worth trying this. A little bit cheaper than Bleu de Chanel. This is one of the more expensive Club de Nuit fragrances, although it's been out a little bit now, so I'm sure you could find it for cheaper. If you can find this for a good price and you want a good cool weather freshie, worth checking out. I'll tell you what a good scent is, Aventus. I'll tell you what also is a good scent, Aventus cologne. But I would say, unlike Aventus, Aventus cologne is a fragrance you would be more likely to wear in the warmer months, perhaps because it is a little bit lighter, it's a bit thinner than Aventus, it doesn't last quite as long, so you might not want to wear that in colder temperatures. I think you can wear this one though. This is from Inside of Parfums. It's called Insidious Cologne. Just like Aventus cologne, there are notes of mint, pink pepper, ginger. You've got the birch of the Aventus DNA, but I find this to be a little bit more boosted in its strength over the Creed. I don't know if they've dosed up the woods in here. I'm not sure. Maybe it's a stronger concentration. Perhaps it's more of an extract than the Creed is, because I think that's an EDP. But this one will work in the cooler temperatures. It's strong enough. You get that beautiful Aventus DNA, you get the freshness of the cologne version, and with this one you get the strength that works in the colder temperatures. And if you didn't know about this brand, Inside of Parfums have a master perfumer, not just an AI machine churning out cologne fragrances. They have employed a master perfumer who wants to remain anonymous for obvious reasons, but this is a trained master perfumer who is composing these scents from the ground up. So if you want a strong, fresh Aventus Insidious cologne, worth checking out. Finishing with one of my favorite fresh fragrances of all time. I love this. I wear this all year round. Perfect in the winter if you want a fresh fragrance that punches through that colder weather. Percival from Parfum de Marly. It's fruity, floral, spicy as well, with lots of ambroxan. Some say you could mistake this for a designer fragrance, and they're right. And I think that's what Parfum de Marly were going for with this. They wanted something very fresh, mass appealing and crowd pleasing, super easy to wear. But Marly bring the Marly thing to it. They bring the quality, they bring ingredients, they bring the strength. Think of this as everything that is great about a really good, fresh designer fragrance, but then add the quality and add the depth. And depth is obviously a very important thing when it comes to fresher fragrances lasting longer in colder temperatures. Percival does that. I love to wear this all year round. It's a stunning fragrance. My only problem with this is I got the small bottle. I should have got the big one. All right, there are my picks for some fresh fragrances that I think work well in colder temperatures. I'm sure you can recommend down in the comments some fresh fragrances that work really well in the winter that I haven't mentioned in this video. So if you've got some, please drop those down below. I would love to hear what they are. If you liked this video, if you found it useful, you know what to do. Hit like, it really helps, honestly. Subscribe if you haven't already. And if you do all that, you'll see me in the next one. Thanks for watching. Stay fresh.